It was a rejection election. Voters overwhelmingly across the country rejected these radical policies of the Democrats, which have caused inflation, rising prices, open borders, and now they want to raise taxes even higher. You would think this would be a wake-up call for the Democrats, but they're still sleepwalking like zombies on this road to socialism.
That was Wyoming Senator and GOP Conference Chair John Barrasso on this program earlier this month after Republican Glenn Youngkin won the governor's race in blue state Virginia. And New Jersey's Democratic governor barely held on to his seat. Republicans seem to have lots of momentum ahead of next year's midterms, and our next guest aims to keep the red wave going. Minnesota Congressman Tom Emmer is chairman of the National Republican Congressional Committee and somebody I had the honor and privilege of serving with in the United States Congress. Congressman, thank you so much for being here. I mean, Republicans are buoyed, but I got to tell you, they have a knack, Republicans, of kind of losing that momentum and getting off message and snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. What's the plan to actually get all the way through the tape and take back the House and the Senate?
Well, Jason, first off, great to see you. Thanks for having me. You're doing a great job. Look, I think Senator Barrasso said it a few weeks ago. I'll say it again. The voters are smart, Jason. Americans are smart. They are rejecting this socialist big government agenda. They realize that Democrats in Congress right now are completely out of touch with Main Street America and middle-class Americans. And our job over the next year, we know it's going to be a dogfight, is to make sure that it's very clear every day that their policies, their big government policies, are driving inflation, are driving the crime wave across this country, are responsible for the open border, and we can go through all kinds of incompetent leadership that this administration has shown us since the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I've never seen a national party be so aggressive against first responders, law enforcement, the Border Patrol, ICE. I mean, usually this is where we have some bipartisan support, but the Democrats have been very aggressive. That doesn't seem to be the same message that they brought into 2020. It seems as if they got there and they act as if they have this Green New Deal mandate that I didn't hear them talking about with the velocity and the veracity that they are now.
Look, Jason, if you look back, the Trump administration policies were incredibly popular. Whether it was American energy independence, whether it was safety and security in your communities, in your state, in this country, whether it was a secure border, southern border. I mean, these were extremely popular. And you're correct. These Democrats came into office and they basically took it as a mandate, which they're trying to undo everything the last administration did with terrible consequences to the American people, and that's why they're going to lose next fall.
You know, one of the key metrics out there is you look at retirements. My understanding is there are 17 Democrats that have announced that they're going to retire this year compared to 12 Republicans. As we turn the first of the year, this is usually when the most retirement announcements come out. What do you see happening there, Congressman?
Well, you look back again just a few weeks ago, you've got the American people, whether it was Virginia, New York, New Jersey, even in Seattle, rejected this big government socialist agenda that the Democrats have been pushing forward. They rejected it completely, and they didn't back off, Jason. They're continuing to push this agenda, and because of that, you see a lot of retirements before Thanksgiving. You mentioned the 17. A lot of these are long-time, long-serving chairmen and chairwomen of these different committees. Look, we said it before, the Thanksgiving holiday, you're right, most of these people go home, have a little time with their families, start to reassess what the future looks like. They see what's coming. We've told them, you got a decision to make. Either retire now or lose next fall, because Republicans will take back a majority, and we're going to fire Nancy Pelosi once and for all.
All right, Congressman, please stay right there. When we come back, the White House says President Biden intends to run for re-election in 2024, but some strategists are not so sure he'll be up for it. More after this. The White House says President Biden intends to run for re-election in 2024, but he'll be 82 years old and his approval ratings are tanking. So are those of Vice President Kamala Harris amid reports of dissension between her staff and the White House. We're back with Minnesota Congressman Tom Emmer, chair of the National Republican Congressional Committee. Congressman, I thought it was interesting, A, that 10 months into the administration, Biden had to announce that he was running for re-election. But I don't know if that's a huge selling point to the American people. That may have been a Republican plant. Was that your idea to get him to announce that?
No, look, he can run again in 2024 if that's what he wants to do, but he's going to lose, Jason. And it's not a good sign. It's never a good sign when members of your own party are literally talking about who's going to replace you, and you haven't even been in the job for a full year yet. The reason they're going to lose, they are responsible for the inflation that we're seeing. Prices are up for everything, and paychecks are down. They're responsible for this crime wave that I talked about earlier. They're doing nothing to solve it, right? And they're responsible for chaos on our southern border, and the incompetence just goes on and on, whether we talk about Afghanistan or now this ridiculous political ploy to release 50 million barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Oil Reserve. Do people realize, Jason, that this country uses about 20 million barrels a day? I mean, it's just one incompetent move after another. Yeah. I hope he does run again.
Yeah, less than 3 days of supply. Congressman, what's the big sleeper issue that differentiates Republicans from Democrats that they think they can win on next year?
Look, the things that pop, people do not want more big government. They want less government. What do the Democrats do? They run on big government in Virginia. They get their hat handed to them, and they come back the next day, Jason, and they say, you know, the problem is we didn't do enough government. It's about putting government into the right size that it should be. It's about competent leadership. The incompetence that we've seen since the beginning of the year is causing serious problems for middle-class Americans, frankly, for the country as a whole. It's about safety and security. It's about security at our southern border. Those are the issues. It's about putting people, Jason, back in charge of the decisions they make that they feel are best for themselves rather than having their government tell them what that is.
You know, one of the things I see the Democrats doing time and time again is saying, well, we got a messaging problem here. Usually, Congressman, when they start saying that there's a messaging problem, that's because the policy is failing and it's not something that they're able to sell. Thank you so much for joining us today on Sunday Morning Futures. Minnesota Congressman Tom Emmer of the NRCC. Thank you again.